I am stoked to have my next guest join us. She's an incredibly talented artist who just dropped a brand new EP called The King. It is Sarah Kinsley. Sarah, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great, doing well. Are we interrupting finals? Are we interrupting moving? I don't see boxes or anything like that at Columbia University.
No. I'm all moved in. I'm okay. And my final season has just ended, so you caught me at a good time.
That's fantastic. And I'm surprised that you're not moving or anything like that. I would expect most college kids to be ready for the summer. What is it? Hot vac summer?
I think that's what people are saying now. Yeah, I think I'm slowly getting used to, being in the city again and being here for the summer and working on music and taking classes and all that. But we'll see if it's that kind of summer. Who knows?
Taking classes during the summer does not sound like the best way to come out of the pandemic. What is the purpose of this? You should be out having fun. What is it? Dancing barefoot in the rain.
Yeah, I still get that while I'm taking classes. I think it's just nice to have the classes offered and be able to still take music classes and, fulfill some of my requirements as a student before I leave next year. So it's not too bad. I still get to dance barefoot and, run with the wind to some degree.
My mother would love to hear this answer right now. I'm taking summer classes. I'm not going to fool around and hang out at the beach and be a bum. I'm going to study some more, even though I'm graduating next year and it doesn't matter. I got my degree. I got this in the bag.
No, I don't think it's what she thinks it is though, because I mean, studying music is not it's not like studying other traditional areas of academia like history or poli sci. It's so different, especially over the summer. So it's not as strict as it sounds or, as crazy.
It's almost akin to engineering in a way, would you say? Because engineering is always about hypotheses and coming up with various answers because there's not an answer for a particular problem. And I guess the same with music, right?
I've never heard that. I mean, some people say that music is, has a lot to do with math or science in the way that we interpret it or talk about music or even digest it or hear it. But I've never heard that it's like engineering. My parents would love to hear that, but I don't know how much I can spin that to say that I'm an engineer to be an artist, but who knows?
I'm just saying that to make my mother happy because
Okay.
I was playing your music in the car with her at one point and she was like, wow, this is great. And I told her that I was going to be talking to you. And she was like, see, if you just stuck to your piano lessons and who knows what you would have been. Look at Sarah. And she's just turned 20 years old with the world at her feet right now. What
No,
was what was the driving force for your family? You and I have this kind of bond now being of Chinese descent. I think Chinese parents have a certain way of thinking in terms of what they want for their kids.
yeah, I mean, it's of course it's different for every family and I mean, for anyone really, but there's definitely a shared sort of cultural bond of musical upbringing for a lot of, especially Chinese American people and younger people too. But I think at first, of course, when you're 4 years old, like you can't be the driving force behind those decisions. But my parents were so big on education and music and wanting me to have this kind of skill, which I'm really grateful to them for. But yeah, I started learning piano lessons and, the drill, going and practicing and then playing the scales and learning all the books and all the pieces. And then eventually by the time I was like 10 or 9 years old, I was just asking my parents if I could take more lessons, if I could, learn violin and then viola and play in orchestras and ensembles and go to camps, just me begging if I could play guitar or just learn more instruments. So I think at first it was them. And then after a while, I was probably annoying them by how much I wanted to keep learning.
You've been very prolific during this entire year and a half or thereabouts, dropping two EPs. And I hear quite a progression between the two. And the fall is what introduced everybody to you, but then you went viral on TikTok because you exposed some of your secrets, so to speak. And
Yeah.
that is insane because let's be honest, without TikTok, who knows where certain people would be right now, or also the educational aspect and those kind of things. What was the catalyst for you to produce that short video where that said basically women don't as Siri would say, produce music.
Yeah. I I still don't know to this day, honestly. I mean, I think that I think it was probably a buildup of a lot of things because I had made that song tapping on all these objects in my room. And I was really proud of that sort of backstory of knowing that the sounds that I was using in that song Over and Under were completely made from myself, because people sample music all the time. We have an incredible technology now that allows us to literally use any sound whatsoever. And so now a lot of music crosses over. You hear similarities all the time in different songs. So I was just so like it was sort of exhilarating to be able to sit down and tap my table and tap my cup and say, that is my sound and I've made that. And we can all tap our cups and do this, but no one can do it the way that I have just done in that very moment. So it was a really sort of beautiful thing to think about. And I wanted to sort of make a video dedicated to that. But also at the time, I had like a tiny, tiny following. So no one really, it didn't really matter what I was putting out there or what I was saying. But I think that like having those quotations at the beginning saying women don't produce music, I'm not sure what sparked that and why I felt such an urge to say that in the video. I think I was just very proud of my production chops in that song and I just wanted to talk about it. But it was, I mean, probably just a buildup of a lot of or just a few experiences that I've had in music production specifically that have, rubbed me the wrong way and just been kind of funny. But nonetheless, like I'm still able to make music from that and still able to make music and go forward from that. So I'm not sure what sparked it, but it clearly resonated with a lot of people, which I was so blown away by.
Now, the CP that you just dropped, I understand, started as a seed right before you turned 20. And this subject matter is essentially a tribute to your youth and moving into your 20s. You made a list of all these wonderful things we just touched upon while running around barefoot or dancing barefoot in the rain, and watching the sunrise and all these things. One item that I found interesting was confronting your fear of death.
Yeah.
And as a young person, that's something interesting to think about, especially during the last year, this whole situation that we've been through.
Yeah.
What was the reason for putting that on your list?
It was a bit of a weird list, I'll say. I think that ending any sort of decade and entering a new one is just so daunting to me. And I was so confused why I was so scared to turn 20. I think that was the main thing. And the list at first, like at the top of the list is all of those lovely, cute things like dancing in the rain barefoot and being soaking in the rain and staying up and watching the sunrise and driving somewhere, God knows where, with the windows down and writing this song. And then of course at the bottom or right above writing the song that's the tribute to youth is confronting my fear of death. And I think it's because I was thinking about this decade of being in your 20s. Everyone talks about the good old days and this great period of life and the time where you will do everything that you're meant to do. And I just had no idea what I was supposed to expect from that time period. And there's a weird stigma when it comes to getting older and living life and being alive and what that means and not taking things for granted. And I was just so terrified to no longer be 19 and to have this sort of safety net of I'm sort of still a child, right? I still have this weird innocence when it comes to being in your teens and this ability to ignore the world to some extent. And it almost felt like when you hit that mark, when the clock strikes and you turn 20, like you have to give up all of that almost. And it felt like a weird sort of sacrifice. And it got me thinking so much about getting older and of course this fear of death and if I'm living in the way that I'm supposed to, and like all of these things. So I was thinking about that a lot. I don't think I've successfully done that yet, gotten over that, but it was just admitting it and putting it down on a piece of paper and, no pun intended, immortalizing the fact that I was scared and that I probably still am. But I think the song also just encapsulated like that fear of dying as well, and wanting to live so freely and having every moment be this wonderful, beautiful thing that makes me soar as much as the song does. But I think all of that kind of came together in the song, or in those few moments and weeks before I turned 20. So I don't know, it's very cathartic, at least to write it down.
I think you did an amazing job in bottling that up and capturing that. And it's something that I think, and I hope, I know will transcend time. It's not going to be like, oh yeah, I remember the 20s and that girl released that song. And it wasn't that cute. I don't think that's going to be that type of situation.
Yeah. I hope it is, honestly. That's like the biggest dream of mine, is to have, like, something that just lasts a little bit longer anyways than one specific moment. But
yeah, I know we're all going to laugh at your TikToks and things like that, because it'll be like, oh, TikTok, remember that phase we all went through?
Yeah, I'll delete them all. I'll get rid of them before anyone can.
Don't worry, I saved them all. I saved them all.
God, my footprint is there forever.
Well, congratulations on all the attention that you're getting. You are, again, super talented, mom approved. And we approve here at B-Sides, of course, and we're really looking forward to what you have in store for us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It means a lot to hear that.